Right, I'm going to do my best to talk you around a lap. I'm going to pause the video and I'll draw bits and pieces on the screen to try and illustrate the point. So this is just going across the start-finish line.
You've just done it for 12.1 seconds.
Keeping it over on this side of the track, looking over here, and just as I'm coming around this bend, I'm just starting to ease off the throttle, let it start to coast, and then I'll apply the brakes when I'm in a straight line. Just applying the brakes down here, you can see it. There we go. Into second gear, cut this corner a little bit, and the following one. Okay. Keeping it in second gear to keep the torque low. We don't end only half throttle as well, so roughly, because we don't want to go, don't want to go flat out, otherwise you'll spin the back. Nice and tight round here, which I failed to do, but you see the point. As soon as it comes straight, apply the brakes down into third, and then try and keep it nice and tight on this inside apex. And then what I look for here is you've got this straight line and it just starts to curve to the right, and when that curve is where that curve happens is where I start to crank the wheel over, try and catch some of this inside apex, run the right hand side wheels over that. I'm just going to go backwards a little bit because I can't remember whether I actually applied the brakes or not. Let's go from here. So I'm just going to watch my braking trace in the bottom left. Very slightly. Just to help the car turn in. And then this is flat out. Obviously. Difficult bend to get right in the previous one. And on the left-hand side, there is a break in the barriers, and that's my braking marker. It's this section here. Keep the speed up on the entrance to this corner, and then I change down into second as I'm coming over here, just to the revs go a little bit high, but it helps keep the car. It helps rotate the car into the bend. Try and get the wheels over this left-hand bit here, just to help, so you can open up the angle as you come out of the bend. And then I start to brake on this 100-yard marker, or is it 100 meters? I'm not sure. Into third. Let it go around the first part of the bend in third, and then apply a little bit more brakes and into second. Right, we go backwards very slightly. And what I'm looking for here is hang on. You've got this cone on the left-hand side, which I think is many people's markers. I think you can actually go slightly beyond, but as long as you get the car straight or straight-ish and then apply the brakes, you should be good. See, I'm still full throttle here, just starting to turn the car in. Hopefully I'll apply the brakes a bit more gently to start with, and start to slow down the car, more so when the car is in a straight line. So let's have a look at the braking trace in a minute. There we go. And into second, nice and wide here, and try and get it in quite tight. Can run out wide on that corner. Go backwards very slightly, sorry. Right, and what I do here is, just before I start to turn into the bend, ease off the throttle, down into fifth, help it rotate. Then when it's in a straight line, mash the brakes. Into second, nice and tight, accelerate quite early out of that. Right, now this braking point is I find a little bit odd. You've got this line here, which is too early. I think that 50 metre mark or 50 yard mark is too late. So I'd go roughly in between the two, around here. And I found second gear around here. I haven't got an awful lot of revs, but the engine's got a lot of torque, so it's not trying to wheel spin out of the corner. It's easy, but easy on the throttle as you come through the bend. There we go. And what I'm looking for here is where that line, that solid white line starts. That's normally my braking point. Down a couple of gears, into fourth, and then obviously being in fourth, it helps it rotate the car around the bend again. Change into fifth, probably at this point, probably not worth it, because the car might start to go a bit too quick, and you could do with the engine braking getting around this second part of the bend if you're at higher revs in fourth. That's my theory at the moment anyway. Like that. It's off. Ease off. Go. Right. And what I do here is about halfway down the pit lane entrance is where I start braking, about here. And I move the car right over to the right hand side. You can go over this section of the rumble strip before you start to turn in. So again, you're opening up the angle for the bend. And I go round this, sort of decelerating in third gear with no brake. So I brake to start with, then ease off the brakes. Just a tiny bit of accelerator just to sort of settle the car before you come back over to the right hand side. And I found this lower revs in second seems to work quite well. I mean, that wasn't a perfect bend, but you get the idea. Plus, you've got a decent engine RPM in second gear coming out of this bend, carry the speed down the straight.
That lap time was 4:00.6.
And in fact, I've done this commentary over one of my slower laps. My next lap is actually a 3:59. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just play it, and I won't commentate over it. You can just watch the braking trace and accelerator. Looking for that break in the barrier. There it is. Third. Okay. Looking for the 100-meter board.
I just noticed there was a grenade rolling down the slope beside me and then it exploded.
Keep the car nice and straight as you brake. Fifth. Mash the brakes. Down it in a second. Halfway in between the line and the 50-meter marker in a second. Low RPMs. There we go. Wasn't quite as good as I did the previous lap, but I think that'll work better than first. Looking for the solid white line in the middle of the road as my braking point. Down into fourth. Keep it in fourth. Bleed off a bit more here. Help it turn in. It's close. Right over the right hand side. Brake. There we go. That was a bit better. Yeah. There we go.
That was 3:59.2 seconds.
Yeah, and that wasn't a bad lap. I was quite happy with that. And what I'm going to try next is the Ferrari 488 GT3 and see how that differs. Anyway, thanks for watching.